Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Weekend Walk and Talk podcast. My name is Dan Gilligan, and I am the owner of an IT company based out of Dallas, Texas. I started this podcast while walking my dog Fiona. You can think of this as my diary of an IT business owner. While you're here, I hope you can learn something to make yourself better, or at least find it entertaining as I share the ups and downs of my journey.
All right. Today I felt like I wanted to talk about setting proper expectations and how I believe expectations are the key to successful business relationships, client relationships. One of the things that I started looking at is setting proper expectations. So let's just say something as simple as your technician decides he's taking a call. Let's say that initial call that comes in is for, I don't know, let's just say it's for a printer driver install. Okay, so that ticket comes in, it's a printer driver install. And a technician does a good job of it, clears it out, less than 30 minutes. I mean, let's just say it's a perfect job. Just maybe less than 15 minutes, installs the printer, person's happy, everything is great. Well, during the phone call, the client then says, oh, you know what, you did this so amazingly. Can you help me set up this laptop? It's like, oh, wait a minute. You come to me for a printer install, but now you need me to set up a whole new laptop. Is it for you? Is it for a new hire? And then all of a sudden, the technician realizes that, well, the laptop's not on the domain, is caught up in the moment, and maybe they decide that they're going to try to set that up. And all of a sudden, because most of us anyway, or a good deal of us are people pleasers, and we find great enjoyment in fixing problems, you just try to help. You're like, okay, so the laptop, it's somewhat easy. It's not going to be for a new person. It's going to be for this person. So, oh my gosh, this shouldn't take very long. Let me just get connected to the machine and let's go ahead and get our tools on it. And then we can go ahead and worry about, the processes later and the procedures later. We'll just get connected right now, and that way we'll get our RMM installed, and then we can schedule it later because, hey, you got the laptop with you, let's make this easy. And all of a sudden you can't get connected to the laptop for some unknown reason. Because your tools aren't on it, you're trying to get them to connect with GoToAssist or Screen Connect or whatever it is that you use to try to connect to machines that aren't already on your system. And then the customer all of a sudden starts to not be so enthralled with the technician's support. And the technician goes, you know what, it seems to be a problem. I can't get connected to it. So let's just go ahead and schedule a time to do this the right way. And we'll go ahead and, set aside, let's say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll go ahead, we'll have a phone call. We'll sit down because, hey, the technician did the printer so fast. The PC install, obviously the technician's going to install that just as quick and get that set up so I don't have to wait for anything. Well, then what happens is the technician completes the ticket for the printer, opens a new ticket for the computer setup, and doesn't tell the client that they're doing that. So there's a couple different problems that we're facing here. The first one is the technician went out of bounds and tried to help with something that they didn't properly follow procedures for. And the other is that they did not set the proper expectations. For the PC setup, they made the customer think that, oh, we'll just do this real fast and then we can set up the rest of it later so that way it doesn't impact you. That didn't happen. And then the very last piece, which is they closed the original ticket and set up a new ticket. Well, how can all of this piss off a customer? So when that ticket closes, most ticketing systems will send an email saying that this ticket's closed. Please rate your level of service. And then, well, if you don't tell the client that you're going to create a brand new ticket for that PC install, what do you think is going to happen? The client's going to come back and rate it as a 0 or a thumbs down and be a little bit annoyed because it's like, well, it's not done. And then they follow it up with an email saying, this isn't done. I know the ticket said for a printer, but I told the technician that I wanted to do, X, Y, Z, and we need to, it's just not done. So now the client's pissed, even though the technician said that they'd call back later and schedule a time to get it all set up. It doesn't matter. Expectations are just not set. And now you got an angry client that may or may not have faith in the system, the IT company, and now is just trying to, maybe they're having a bad day and that just sets them off, and now they're going to go try to find everything else that they don't like about the IT company or that particular person. So setting proper expectations from the get-go is 100% necessary. I've dealt with it in sales. I've bought products. The technician's trying to get the job done quick because the client, was led to believe that they could do this task quickly. So the technician should have immediately put on the brakes and said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and close out this printer case. And, well, at least in our company, the technician would close out the printer case, let the customer know you're going to get a completion notice. If you could rate my level of service on that ticket, that would be wonderful. Let me know how I did. And I'm going to start up a new ticket for a new PC install. But Mr. Client Company, go ahead and look and see if you have a procedure in place for this task, because this is what we call an add, move, change, because we're adding something new. And the add, move, change in our environment is anything added that's new and non-existing. So this would definitely qualify for an add, move, change. So they could easily look up in our documentation system and see that, yes, there is a procedure in place for a new PC. And that procedure is that it must be scheduled with a minimum of 2 hours setup time. And then the technician could communicate that to them. It's like, okay, it looks like we need to schedule 2 hours minimum to get this system set up into our system. It may not take that long, but we do allocate that amount of time. That way it sets proper expectations. So if that was communicated properly, I don't doubt that, you wouldn't have an angry customer. Likewise, if a salesperson is not just spewing off anything they can to get the sale done, it's likely that business partnership, business relationship will go very, very well, and for many years. But setting expectations, that's what I wanted to chit-chat about. And I guess it's more about creating and following your processes and procedures really is probably what I should have started this with, but I think it goes hand in hand. In order to set expectations, you have to have processes and procedures in place, because if you don't, well, you don't really have anything. Everybody's just making up their own rules, and sometimes I feel like that's the way some salespeople are, unfortunately. I'm not saying all salespeople are bad people, but man, there's a lot of them out there that will just say anything to get that sale, and then you never hear from them again, no matter what. It's something. So, but anyway, there you have it. Bye-bye.